"You're so lucky we let you stay here," my sister Peyton said, stirring her coffee with the same condescending smile she'd worn since we were kids. "I mean, what would you do without us?" "I'm Jasmine, and this is technically my house, the one our grandmother left to me. Not Peyton, not her husband Caden, just me. Yet somehow, I'm the one who feels like an unwanted guest most days." "Pass the sugar," Caden called out from behind his phone, not even bothering to look up. I slid the sugar bowl across our grandmother's antique table, the same one I'd helped her polish every Sunday growing up. He grabbed it without a word of thanks. "Oh, by the way," Peyton chirped, "Mum and Dad's anniversary party. We're hosting it here next month. I've already started the guest list." My coffee cup froze halfway to my lips. "Here? Don't you think you should have asked me first?" Caden finally looked up, exchanging an eye roll with my sister. "Come on, Jasmine. It's not like you have anything else going on. Besides, this place needs some life in it." "I was thinking we could invite around 50 people," Peyton continued, completely ignoring my objection. "The Lucases, the Nortons, all the cousins. Oh, and don't worry about the work. You can help with the setup and serving." "Serving?" I echoed, my voice barely a whisper. "Well, someone has to," she said with a shrug. "And let's be honest, you're not exactly the hosting type. Remember Tommy Chen's graduation party, that awful appetizer spread you put together?" "That was 10 years ago," I protested, but they were already laughing, sharing another one of their meaningful looks. "Face it, sis!" Peyton reached across to pat my hand in that patronizing way I'd grown to hate. "You're more of a behind-the-scenes person. We're doing you a favor, really, giving you something to do." The familiar burn of humiliation crept up my neck. I stood up, gathering the breakfast dishes, because that's what I always did. Clean up their messes. "Oh, and we'll need to move your stuff out of the spare room," Caden added. "That's going to be the gift table area. You can put it all in the basement or something." "My stuff?" I turned around slowly. "You mean my art supplies?" "Jasmine, honey," Peyton sighed. "Those little paintings of yours. They're sweet, but they don't exactly fit the aesthetic we're going for. This is going to be an elegant affair." I gripped the edge of the sink, remembering how our grandmother had encouraged my painting, had even hung one of my watercolours in her bedroom. It was still there, actually, the only piece of me that Peyton hadn't managed to erase from the main floor. "I've already called the caterers," Peyton announced, scrolling through her phone. "And Gianna's helping me with the decorations. We're thinking gold and cream theme, very sophisticated. Does Mum know about this party?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "Of course not, silly. It's a surprise. Though," Peyton's voice dropped conspiratorially, "Dad might have heard through Aunt Marie. You know how terrible she is with secrets." The doorbell rang, and Peyton jumped up. "That'll be Michaela. We're going over some party ideas." As she clicked away in her designer heels, I heard her stage whisper to Caden, "God, what would we do without our little charity case? Free house, free help." I stood there, dishes forgotten, water running over my trembling hands. Through the window, I could see our elderly neighbour Beatrice tending to her roses. She caught my eye and waved, her face creasing with concern when I didn't wave back. Caden's voice carried from the dining room as he talked on his phone. "Yeah, man, the house is perfect for entertaining. Plenty of space, great location. Peyton and I really lucked out." I turned off the water and dried my hands, something shifting inside me. Maybe it was the way they'd dismissed my art, or how they'd planned this entire party without asking me, or that final charity case comment. But standing there in my grandmother's kitchen, my kitchen, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Anger. Pure, clarifying anger. My phone buzzed with a text from Beatrice. "Come over for tea, dear. You look like you need to talk." I glanced at Peyton, now gesturing animatedly to our cousin Michaela in the living room, pointing at various spaces as if she owned them. Then at Caden, still bragging about his perfect life in my house. For the first time, I let myself imagine what it would be like if they weren't here. If I finally stood up for myself. Sure, I texted Beatrice back. I think it's time for a change. These curtains have got to go, Peyton declared, yanking down the vintage lace panels Grandma had hand-sewn. They're so dated. I watched from the doorway as my sister tossed 40 years of craftsmanship onto the growing pile of party prep casualties. The living room already looked foreign. My books cleared from the shelves, family photos replaced with generic art prints Peyton had ordered online. "Mum, that's Aunt Jasmine's stuff," Gianna protested quietly, holding one of my displaced photo albums. "Honey, Aunt Jasmine doesn't have an eye for these things," Peyton said. "Thank goodness we're here to help her create a proper entertaining space." The doorbell rang, and Caden strode past me like I was part of the wall. "That'll be the party planner." "Party planner?" I followed him. "I thought you were handling everything." "Please," he scoffed, "we need a professional. This is a significant event, not one of your little book club meetings." The party planner, Amanda, swept in wearing a blazer that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. She barely glanced at me before turning to Peyton and Caden. "So, this is the space we're working with." She clicked her tongue. "It has potential, though that staircase needs updating." "The staircase stays," I said firmly. It was solid oak, worn smooth by decades of family feet. Amanda raised an eyebrow. "And you are—" "She's the house sitter," Caden cut in smoothly. "Don't worry about her." I opened my mouth to object, but Peyton was already leading Amanda through a tour, pointing out all the changes they planned to make to my home. "We'll need to move this hideous cabinet," Amanda's voice carried from the dining room, "and that ancient table." "Actually," I called out following them, "that cabinet was our grandmother's." "Jasmine," Peyton interrupted, her smile tight, "don't you have some errands to run? We've got this handled." I retreated to the kitchen, where Gianna was sorting through the photo albums. "I like these pictures," she said softly, "especially this one of you and Mom at the lake house." I peered over her shoulder. The photo showed Peyton and me as teenagers, arms around each other, genuinely smiling. Before she married Caden, before the constant competition, before— "Gianna!" Peyton's sharp voice made us both jump. "Stop wasting time with those old things. Come help me measure for the buffet table." After they left, I slipped upstairs to my room, the only space still untouched by their improvements. Opening my desk drawer, I pulled out the folder of house documents I'd started gathering after my talk with Beatrice. The deed was right on top, my name clear as day. My fingers traced over Grandma's signature, remembering her words. "This house needs someone who'll love it, not just live in it." My phone buzzed. A text from Beatrice. "Come over, brought those real estate listings you asked about." I glanced at the chaos downstairs, where Amanda was now discussing sightlines and flow optimization with my sister. "Be right there," I texted back. As I headed for the door, Caden's voice drifted from his home office. "Yeah, once this promotion comes through, we'll finally be able to make some real changes to the house. Jasmine's lucky we're here to maintain the property value." I paused, my hand on the doorknob. "Of course she'll have to move out eventually," he continued. "Can't have a charity case cramping our style forever. But we'll handle that when the time comes." My fingers tightened on the knob until my knuckles went white. "Aunt Jasmine," Gianna's voice made me turn. She held out one of the photo albums. Could you tell me about some of these pictures sometime? About what Grandma was like?" For a moment, I saw myself at her age, always trying to keep the peace, to stay in Peyton's good graces. "Sure, sweetie," I said, "but right now I need to run an errand." "Where are you going?" Peyton called from the living room. "We need help moving furniture." "Just visiting Beatrice," I answered, already halfway out the door. "That nosy old woman." Caden snorted. What could she possibly have to offer? I smiled, thinking of the real estate listings in Beatrice's kitchen and the lawyer's number she'd given me. More than you'd think. As I crossed the street, I heard Peyton telling Amanda, "Don't mind my sister, she's always been a bit simple. Lucky for her, we're here to make the decisions." Lucky indeed, I thought, climbing Beatrice's porch steps. The time for decisions had definitely come. The house is entirely in your name," Lucas the lawyer confirmed, adjusting his glasses as he reviewed the documents. "Your sister has no legal claim whatsoever." I sat straighter in his office chair, heart pounding. "So I can sell it, rent it, paint it purple with yellow polka dots. It's your property to do with as you please." He leaned forward. "Though I sense you have something specific in mind." "There's a potential buyer," I said carefully. "A friend of my neighbour recommended him." Lucas nodded, shuffling through more papers. "And your sister and her husband? They've been living there rent-free, I understand. 3 years now." I twisted my hands in my lap. "They never signed a lease." "Then legally, they're month-to-month tenants at best. You'd need to give them proper notice, but otherwise—" He spread his hands. "The decision is yours." Back at home, I found Peyton directing a crew of workers who were rearranging my living room furniture. Again. "Oh good, you're back," she said, without looking up from her phone. "The garage needs clearing out for the catering prep area." "I can't right now," I replied, heading for the stairs. "I have some work to do." "Work?" she laughed. "Since when?" I ignored her, climbing to my room where I'd started secretly packing my most precious belongings. Photo albums, Grandma's jewellery box, my art supplies, anything I couldn't bear to lose in the chaos to come. A knock at my door made me freeze. "Aunt Jasmine?" I quickly shoved a box under my bed. "Come in, Gianna." My niece slipped inside, closing the door behind her. "What are you doing?" "Just organising." I gestured vaguely at the half-empty bookshelf. "Are you moving out?" Her voice was small. "Because of Mom and Dad?" Before I could answer, Caden's voice boomed from downstairs. "Absolutely not! We're not paying for permits. This is our house. We'll do what we want." Gianna winced. They always say that it's their house. She picked up a framed photo of Grandma. "But that's not true, is it? I heard Dad on the phone yesterday and talking about how they'll handle you after his promotion comes through." My phone buzzed. A text from Beatrice. "Reginald Waters can meet tomorrow. He's very interested." "Gianna," I said carefully, "if things change around here, if your parents had to move—" "I want to stay with you," she blurted out. "Whatever happens, Mum and Dad, they're so focused on appearances, on their social status, I can't breathe around them anymore." Footsteps thundered up the stairs. "Gianna," Peyton called, "the decorators need your opinion on the party favours." "Coming." Gianna squeezed my hand before hurrying out. I waited until the house quieted before slipping down to the kitchen. Caden was there, talking on his phone again. "The promotion's practically guaranteed," he was saying. "We'll finally be able to renovate this dump properly. New kitchen, maybe add a pool. Yeah, we'll have to deal with the sister situation, but that's just details." I cleared my throat. He startled, then covered the phone. "Do you mind? This is a private conversation." "In my kitchen?" I asked mildly. His face darkened. "Listen, you ungrateful—" But I was already walking away, pulling out my own phone to text Lucas. "I want to move forward with the sale. How quickly can we close?" His response came quickly. "With a motivated buyer and cash offer, a week, maybe less." I checked the party invitation Peyton had shoved under my nose that morning. Date, exactly 1 week away. Perfect timing. Another text from Beatrice. "Reginald can pay cash, no contingencies. Just say the word." I looked around at my grandmother's house, at the garish new decorations, the displaced furniture, the spaces where my family photos used to hang. In the living room, Peyton was instructing workers to take down Grandma's cherished crystal chandelier. "The word is yes," I texted back. My phone immediately lit up with a call from Lucas. "Are you sure about this?" he asked when I answered. "Once we start the process." From downstairs, I heard Peyton's voice. "Oh, don't worry about Jasmine. She's just grateful we're here to take care of everything. Poor thing wouldn't know what to do with this house otherwise." "I'm sure," I said firmly. "Let's do it." As I hung up, Gianna appeared in my doorway again, holding another box of my things she'd rescued from Peyton's purge. "Whatever you're planning," she whispered, "I'm on your side." I hugged her tight, wondering if she'd still feel that way when it was all over. "The paperwork looks perfect," Reginald said, signing another document in Lucas's office. "I can't wait to restore this historic property to its original glory." I smiled, thinking of Grandma's carefully preserved woodwork that Peyton had been talking about painting over. "You'll keep the original features?" "Of course. That craftsmanship is irreplaceable." He glanced at his watch. "And we're still on track for closing next Friday morning?" "Yes," Lucas confirmed. "The morning of the 15th. The same day as the party." My stomach twisted, but I kept my voice steady. Perfect timing. Back at the house, I found Peyton and her party planner rearranging the dining room for the 5th time. "Jasmine, finally!" Peyton thrust a stack of papers at me. "Here's your schedule for party day. You'll need to be up by 6 a.m. to help the caterers." I scanned the minute-by-minute timeline she'd created. "You've got me running errands until midnight the day before." "Well, someone has to pick up the ice sculptures and the specialty linens." She rolled her eyes. "It's not like you have anything else to do." "Actually, I have an appointment Friday morning." "Cancel it," Caden interrupted, striding in with his laptop. "This is important. Family first, remember?" I bit back a laugh at his sudden interest in family. "Right, of course." "Oh, and we need your room for the coat check," Peyton added. "You can sleep in the basement that night." "The basement?" I echoed. "Don't be dramatic," she sighed. "It's just for one night, unless—" She exchanged a look with Caden. "Well, we might need to make that a more permanent arrangement soon." Before I could respond, Gianna burst through the front door. "Mum, Dad, I got into Stanford!" "That's wonderful, sweetie," Peyton said distractedly, still focused on her party plans. "But remember, we discussed this. The local university makes more sense financially." "But I earned a scholarship," Gianna protested, "and Aunt Jasmine went to Stanford." "And look how that turned out," Caden muttered. I slipped away as they argued, heading upstairs to pack another box. Through the floor, I could hear Gianna's voice rising. "Why do you always do this? Why can't you just be happy for me?" My phone buzzed. A text from the moving company confirming our appointment. I quickly deleted it as footsteps approached. "Ah, Aunt Jasmine!" Gianna appeared, eyes red. "Can we talk?" I patted the spot beside me on the bed. "Always." "They never listen," she said, slumping down. "It's like they have this perfect picture in their heads, and anything that doesn't fit just gets erased." "I know exactly what you mean. Is that why you're selling the house?" I froze. "How did you—" "I saw the papers in your desk when I was helping you organize." She managed a small smile. "Don't worry, I haven't told them." "Gianna, It's okay," she interrupted. "They deserve it. The way they treat you, the way they treat everyone." She twisted her hands together. "But what happens after?" "You could stay with me," I offered. "I'm looking at apartments near the university, near Stanford, actually." Her eyes lit up, then dimmed. "They'd never allow it." "You're 17, I reminded her. "In a few months, they won't have a choice." From downstairs, Peyton called, "Gianna, come help with the seating chart." "Coming." She stood, then turned back. "The party? That's when you're going to tell them, isn't it?" I nodded slowly. A grin spread across her face. "Good. Can I help?" Just Be ready to leave when it happens. After she left, I heard Caden on another work call. Yes, sir. Once this promotion comes through, we're planning major renovations. The property has so much potential, just needs a firm hand. My phone lit up with a final confirmation from Lucas. Closing documents ready. Title company booked for 9 a.m. Friday. I looked around my childhood bedroom, now half-packed in secret. On my desk sat the party invitation Peyton had designed. Join us in celebrating Thomas and Lindsay's 35th anniversary, hosted by Peyton and Caden in their lovely historic home. Their lovely historic home. Another text came through, this time from Beatrice. Movers confirmed for Friday afternoon. Are you ready for this? I thought of Gianna's tears, of Caden's condescension, of Peyton's constant dismissal of everything I was and everything I'd achieved. More than ready, I replied. The sound of Peyton ordering around the catering staff drifted up. No, not there. Honestly, do I have to do everything myself? This party has to be perfect. Oh, it will be, I thought, just not in the way you're expecting. Put these on. Peyton thrust a black skirt and white button-up shirt at me. The caterers are here, and I can't have you looking like that. I glanced down at my perfectly normal sweater and jeans. The party wouldn't start for hours, but apparently I needed to look like waitstaff immediately. Here's your apron, she added, tossing a starched white rectangle at me. And please do something with your hair. You look like you just rolled out of the basement. Because I had. They'd made me sleep there last night while they converted my bedroom into a coat check room. The house was already buzzing with activity. Florists arranged elaborate centerpieces, bartenders set up their stations, and Caden practiced his speech in front of a mirror. Eden, we're so blessed to have this beautiful home, he rehearsed, adjusting his tie, a testament to hard work and family values. My phone vibrated. Closing complete, deed recorded, congratulations on the sale. Lucas. I quickly deleted the message as Peyton swooped by. Why aren't you dressed yet? The guests will be here in 3 hours. I need to run a quick errand first. Absolutely not. She grabbed my arm. The ice sculptures are already melting faster than expected. The flower arch is crooked, and Mum and Dad will be here any minute. Right on cue, the doorbell rang. Peyton shoved the clothes at me again. Change, now! I ducked into the bathroom, listening to her greet our parents with practiced enthusiasm. Mom, Dad, you're early. Don't worry, everything's under control. When I emerged in my assigned uniform, guests were already arriving. Peyton immediately put me to work directing cars and collecting coats. Where's Jasmine? I heard Mom ask as I hustled past with an armload of designer jackets. Oh, she's helping out, Peyton said smoothly. You know how she is, more comfortable behind the scenes. Dad frowned. But this is her house. More champagne, Caden interrupted, steering them toward the living room. Wait until you see the renovations we're planning. The house filled quickly with relatives, friends, and what seemed like half of Peyton and Caden's social circle. I kept checking my phone, waiting for confirmation from Reginald and the movers. Aunt Jasmine, Gianna appeared at my elbow, looking anxious. Mum's about to start the presentations. Are you? Everything's ready, I whispered. Stay close to Beatrice when it happens. Our elderly neighbour had arrived fashionably late, positioning herself near the front door with a knowing smile. She gave me a subtle nod. If I could have everyone's attention. Peyton clinked her glass. We're so thrilled you could all join us to celebrate our wonderful parents' anniversary. Caden and I are proud to host this special occasion in our beautiful home. My phone buzzed. Moving truck and crew in position. New owners en route. Beatrice. And now, Peyton continued, my amazing husband would like to say a few words about family, legacy, and the importance of creating a lasting foundation. Caden stepped forward, beaming. Thank you, darling. When we first moved into this house. Another text. We're here, ready when you are. I slipped through the crowd toward the front door, my heart pounding. Through the window, I could see the moving truck and Reginald's car pulling up. And that's why we're excited to announce, Caden was saying, that with my upcoming promotion, we'll be completely renovating this outdated property into something truly spectacular. The doorbell rang. Peyton shot me an irritated look. Jasmine, the caterers know to use the back door. But I was already opening it, revealing Reginald, his wife, and two burly movers. Right on time, I said clearly, my voice carrying across the suddenly quiet room. Please come in. Welcome to your new home. The silence was deafening. What did you just say? Peyton's voice cracked like a whip. I turned to face the crowd, meeting Gianna's encouraging smile and Beatrice's proud nod. Everyone, I announced, I'd like you to meet Reginald and Maria Waters, the new owners of this house. The sale closed this morning. Caden's champagne glass slipped from his fingers, shattering on the hardwood floor. He sputtered, that's impossible. This is our house. Actually, I pulled the deed from my apron pocket, my final act as their servant. It never was. The movers stepped forward, clipboards ready. Where would you like us to start, Miss Jasmine? Peyton's face had gone from shocked white to furious red. You wouldn't. I already did. I removed the apron and dropped it at her feet. The party can continue, of course. But after that, I smiled at the Waters family. Well, I believe the new owners have some renovation plans of their own. The room erupted into chaos just as Mum fainted into Dad's arms. You vindictive little snake! Peyton lunged forward, but Caden caught her arm. How dare you ruin our party? Your party? I held up the deed. In our house? Ladies and gentlemen, Reginald's calm voice cut through the chaos. Perhaps we should give the family some privacy to discuss this. The guests began shuffling toward the exits, whispering among themselves. Mum had recovered from her faint, but looked shell-shocked on the vintage sofa, the one Peyton had planned to throw out next week. This is a joke, Caden declared, though his face had gone ashen. You can't sell the house without our permission. Actually, Lucas stepped forward from the crowd. She can, and she did, quite legally. You, Peyton spun toward him. You helped her do this? I merely facilitated a legal transaction between Miss Jasmine and the Waters family. He adjusted his glasses. The closing documents are ironclad. The movers cleared their throats. Should we start with the upstairs? The master bedroom, I said clearly. Everything except the original furniture belongs to Peyton and Caden. You can't just throw us out, Peyton shrieked. We have rights. As month-to-month tenants who never paid rent? Lucas raised an eyebrow. You have 30 days to vacate, which is more than generous considering the circumstances. Dad finally found his voice. Jasmine, honey, surely we can discuss this. Like how you discussed moving in? I turned to him. Or how they discussed taking over my bedroom, or planning this party. We gave you a purpose. Peyton's mascara was running now. You were nothing before we moved in. I was at peace, I corrected her. In my home, the one Grandma left to me. Because she was senile, Peyton snapped. Everyone knows I was her favourite. The room went deadly quiet. Actually, Beatrice spoke up from her corner. Margaret was quite clear about her decision. She told me herself she left the house to Jasmine because she knew Peyton would never appreciate it. Just use it. And look how right she was, I added softly. Caden's phone rang, his boss's ringtone. He answered automatically, then froze as the voice on the other end became audible to everyone. Caden, just saw your sister-in-law's social media post about the house sale. Seems you weren't quite honest about your living situation or property ownership during your promotion discussions. He ended the call, face grey. Peyton, the promotion. No, she whispered. No, no, no. The movers had already started carrying boxes downstairs. Gianna stood by the stairs, her own bags packed and ready. "Mum," she said quietly, "I'm staying with Aunt Jasmine until you figure things out." "You're not going anywhere!" Peyton grabbed for her, but Gianna stepped back. "I'm 17, Mom, and I got into Stanford with a full scholarship. Aunt Jasmine is going to help me move there. This is all your fault." Peyton wheeled on me again. "You turned our daughter against us." "No," Gianna's voice was firm. "You did that all by yourself." More guests were leaving now, including several of Caden's work colleagues. The catering staff stood awkwardly by their half-served appetizers. "Perhaps," Reginald suggested gently, "you'd like to gather some essential items before the movers continue." "Essential items?" Peyton laughed hysterically. "This is our home." "Was," I corrected. "The movers will pack everything carefully and it will be delivered to wherever you decide to go. But you need to leave now." "You can't do this to us," Caden's voice cracked. "Where are we supposed to go?" "Maybe you can find a charity case to take you in," I replied sweetly. Mom started crying then, and Dad just looked lost. Beatrice stepped forward to guide them out, murmuring something about them staying with her until things settled. "This isn't over," Peyton hissed as she stormed past me. "You'll regret this." "No," I said, watching the movers carefully wrap Grandma's chandelier, the one Peyton had wanted to replace. "I don't think I will." Gianna hugged me as her parents stormed out. Through the window, we could see Caden trying to explain to his colleagues, Peyton screaming into her phone, and Mom being helped into Beatrice's house. "Are you okay?" I asked Gianna. She nodded, watching her parents' meltdown. I think I finally am." The Waters family stood quietly by the stairs, respectfully waiting as the drama unfolded. Maria touched my arm gently. "We'll take good care of your grandmother's house," she promised. "All the original features will stay." I smiled, hearing Peyton's final shriek of rage from the driveway. "I know you will." The caterers began packing up their untouched anniversary feast, and the last guest slipped away, no doubt already spreading the story across their social networks. Some victories, I realized, were worth every penny of their price. "You sold the house to pay off our mortgage?" Mum's voice trembled as she stared at the documents I'd laid on Beatrice's kitchen table. "But how did you know?" "The bank called about a missed payment last month," I explained. "They had my number as a contact. Seems Peyton and Caden's help with your finances wasn't quite what they claimed." Dad buried his face in his hands. "We were too embarrassed to tell you. They promised they'd handle it." "By stealing my house?" The words came out sharper than intended. "They said they needed the property value for investments," Mum whispered, "to secure loans for renovations. We never thought—" "That they'd try to force me out. That they'd use your anniversary party to show off their success while hiding your financial troubles." Beatrice set fresh tea in front of us. Through her window, we could see the moving trucks still loading Peyton and Caden's belongings. "Where will they go?" Mum asked. "Caden's parents offered their guest house," Dad sighed. "Temporarily." A car door slammed outside. Peyton stormed up Beatrice's walkway, bursting through the door without knocking. "The movers won't let me take the chandelier," she demanded. "Tell them it's mine." "It's not," I said calmly. "It's part of the house. The Waters family specifically requested all original fixtures stay. That chandelier is worth thousands. Exactly why it's staying." She turned to our parents. "Are you just going to sit there? Your precious baby girl sold our home." "No," Mum stood slowly. "She sold her home to save ours." Peyton froze. "What?" I slid the bank documents across the table. The proceeds covered Mom and Dad's mortgage, with enough left over for Gianna's first year at Stanford and a down payment on my new apartment. "You knew?" Peyton's voice cracked. "About the mortgage?" "We all did." Gianna appeared in the doorway. "Dad's been panicking about it for months. I heard him on the phone with the bank. Why didn't you tell me? Mum asked Peyton. Because she was too busy planning how to take over the house, I answered. Weren't you, sis? Peyton's face crumpled. We were trying to help. Once Caden's promotion came through, the promotion he lost by lying about owning my house. That's your fault, she shrieked. You've ruined everything. No, Dad's quiet voice cut through her hysteria. You did that yourself, both of you. Peyton staggered back like she'd been slapped. In all our years, Dad had never spoken to her that way. But I'm your daughter, she whispered. Your firstborn. And I'm your sister, I added. The one you called a charity case. The one whose home you tried to steal. We didn't. We never meant. Yes, you did. Gianna stepped forward. You meant every word, every action. You always have. The moving truck's engine started outside. Peyton rushed to the window. They're taking my furniture. To the storage unit I paid for, I said. You have 30 days to claim it. She spun back, mascara streaking her cheeks. Where are we supposed to live? Perhaps, Beatrice suggested mildly. You should have thought of that before biting the hand that housed you. A car horn honked, Caden waiting impatiently in his parents' driveway. This isn't fair, Peyton's voice broke. We're family. Yes, Mum stood, finally finding her strength. We are, which makes your behaviour even worse. Mum, no, Peyton. For years we watched you belittle your sister, take advantage of her kindness. We said nothing, and that's on us. She took my hand. But not any more. Caden honked again, longer this time. You should go, I said. Your husband's waiting. Peyton looked around the room. At Mum's resolve, Dad's disappointment, Gianna's defiance, and my calm certainty. For the first time in her life, she had no audience, no supporters, no power. Fine, she choked out. Fine, keep your precious house. Keep your perfect daughter. Keep everything. She stormed out, slamming the door so hard Beatrice's windows rattled. Through the glass, we watched her climb into Caden's waiting car. He gestured angrily, probably about the chandelier, but she just slumped in her seat as they drove away. Will you ever forgive her? Mum asked softly. I watched the moving truck follow Caden's car, carrying away the last pieces of my sister's carefully constructed illusion. Maybe, I said, but not today. Gianna squeezed my hand. The movers found more of your art supplies in the basement. The ones Mum tried to throw away. I saved them. I hugged her tight, remembering all the times Peyton had tried to erase me from my own home. Ready to go look at apartments? I asked Gianna. She grinned. Near Stanford. Near Stanford. As we gathered our things, I caught one last glimpse of the house through Beatrice's window. The Waters family was already inside, probably planning how to restore it to its former glory, just like Grandma would have wanted. The keys felt heavy in my hand as I stood in the empty foyer one last time. The Waters family had given me the weekend to say goodbye properly, understanding some endings need their own space. My phone buzzed. Another message from Peyton, still alternating between rage and desperate bargaining. I deleted it without reading, just like the others. Found this in the back of the coat closet, Gianna called, emerging with a dusty photo album. Look! We sat on the stairs, the beautiful oak stairs Peyton had wanted to replace, and opened it together. There was Grandma, young and vibrant, painting the very walls Caden had criticised. Another showed Peyton and me as children, helping her garden. You both look so happy, Gianna observed. We were, once. The front door opened, and Mum stepped in hesitantly. I thought I'd find you here. She joined us on the stairs, touching the worn banister gently. Your father's at the lawyer's office. The mortgage paperwork is all settled. Good. I closed the album. How's Peyton? Struggling. Caden's parents gave them 2 weeks to find their own place. She sighed. His promotion? It's completely off the table now. Actions have consequences, Gianna said, sounding older than her 17 years. Mum nodded slowly. Yes, they do, including ours. She turned to me. We should have stopped them, Jasmine. Should have seen what they were doing to you. You did see, I said quietly. You just didn't want to believe it. No, we didn't. She touched the photo album. Your grandmother knew better. She saw exactly who everyone was. Footsteps on the porch interrupted us. Through the beveled glass, I recognized Peyton's silhouette. I've got this, Gianna stood, intercepting her mother at the door. You can't just barge in anymore. I need to talk to your aunt. Peyton's voice was hoarse. Please. I nodded to Gianna, who reluctantly let her in. Peyton looked terrible, designer clothes wrinkled, makeup smeared. She stared at the empty rooms, the bare walls where her precious party decorations had hung. The Waters family hired the restoration company today, I said. They're bringing back all the original colours. Jasmine, please, she whispered. We can fix this. We'll pay rent, sign a lease, whatever you want. That's not possible anymore. Because you hate me that much. Because the house isn't mine to offer. I stood. And because some things can't be fixed with money or promises. Then why? Her voice cracked. Why did you do it like this, in front of everyone? You mean like how you humiliated me, treated me like staff in my own home, planned to force me out? She flinched. We never... Yes, you did, and you know it. Mum touched Peyton's arm. Honey, sometimes the hardest consequences are the ones we earn ourselves. Peyton jerked away. So that's it. I lose everything because of one mistake. One mistake. Gianna's laugh was bitter. Try years of mistakes, years of cruelty. I was trying to make things better for all of us. No, I said firmly. You were trying to take what wasn't yours. There's a difference. She slumped against the wall, defeat finally settling over her. I don't know how to fix this. Maybe you can't. I opened the front door. Maybe that's the point. She started to leave, then turned back. The chandelier. Grandma bought it in Paris. Did you know that? Yes. She told me the story while we cleaned it together every spring. Another thing you were too busy to care about. Peyton nodded slowly, understanding finally dawning in her eyes. She left without another word. Are you okay? Gianna asked softly. I looked around the empty foyer, remembering Grandma's words. A house is just walls and windows, dear. It's the love inside that makes it a home. Yes, I said, surprising myself by meaning it. I am. Mum hugged me tight. Your apartment near campus is lovely, and having Gianna there for college visits will be perfect, I finished. We gathered our last few belongings, the photo album, Grandma's spare key I'd always kept, my old art supplies Gianna had saved. At the door, I turned back one final time. Sunlight streamed through the beveled glass, casting rainbow patterns across the floor. Somewhere upstairs, a floorboard creaked. The one Grandma used to say was just the house hugging itself. Ready? Gianna asked. I smiled, thinking of the Waters family's restoration plans, of my new apartment's blank walls waiting for my paintings, of Gianna's excited chatter about Stanford. Ready? I locked the door, leaving my key in the mailbox for the Waters family. As we walked to the car, I heard hammering from inside, the restoration already beginning. Some endings, I realized, are really just better beginnings in disguise.